You are now entering the horror sanctum.
Hello, and welcome back to the Horror Sanctum podcast. I'm Jay with John and TJ, and we received a gift today. Thanks to Screenbox TV, we were sent a screener for Andrew Bowser's new film, Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. Sounds ridiculous, right? It's not. It's fantastic. We'll get there. It's a Screenbox exclusive. It drops tomorrow, the 14th. It's if you don't have Screenbox, why not? Go ahead and get it. You can download it on your iPhone, Android. It's available on Apple TV, Prime, Roku, YouTube, Samsung, Comcast, and Screenbox.com. It's everywhere. It's super affordable. It's got some great exclusive content, and you get a 7-day free trial as well. So go ahead and get on that so you can watch this movie along with us, because it is a new movie. Now, I've been a giant Andrew Bowser fan for a while now. I think he's brilliant. And when I heard about him finally making this film, I was super excited. And then I found out that Barbara Crampton's going to be in it. Jeffrey Combs is going to be in it. Olivia Taylor-Dudley. So after I found all that, I was just over the moon, and all I could say was shut up and take my money, because I'm there. Like, I was there without that supporting cast, and then you put Barbara Crampton in there, which you guys know how I feel about her, Jeffrey Combs, and I love Olivia Taylor-Dudley, and she produced it and helped a lot with the making of the film too, which was cool. So again, we got the screener today. It comes out tomorrow on Screenbox. If you're not familiar, the film revolves around Onyx the Fortuitous, who is struggling to find purpose with his soul-devouring side gig when he receives a coveted invitation to the mansion of his idol, Bartok the Great. Here he joins Bartok and his mysterious delegation to raise the spirit of an ancient demon for a once-in-a-lifetime ritual. We'll try our best not to give too much away with it technically coming out tomorrow. It did do one night in theaters. I don't think it's available for streaming anywhere until tomorrow. So if you've listened to us before, you know we're not good at spoilers, but we'll try our best. But just know spoilers are likely.
Yeah, so Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. It's quite a title. It just gets you automatically on the title. I really didn't think much about this movie initially, like hearing about it. I knew Andre just from social media, had seen him, and I'd seen the character of Onyx, and I liked it. It was funny. I think it had been around for like maybe 8 to 10 years. It's been around a while. And when I heard about the movie, I didn't see the trailer, but I was like, okay, well, that's kind of cool. And I didn't really think much about it, didn't expect much. And watching it, I just was like, this is like the best. This is like my favorite horror film this year. It's really more like a comedy. It's definitely a horror comedy, and that's hard leaning, but there is horror in it. But it just works. The movie is kind of like a big love letter to like the 80s. Onyx is the best part of the film. He makes it. That character is absolutely what makes the movie. Every time he's on screen, like everything, he's just chewing the scenery, the lines. It's like that character is just, it works on every level. And I didn't know if it would. I mean, the runtime is 2 hours, but it really does work. And the story doesn't drag. It's an interesting plot, and it really does follow along. And I think by the end of it, you kind of see why he needed the full 2 hours to really make the movie that he wanted to make. Because a lot of times you see a 2 hour movie now and you're just like, oh God. But this really, I think, needed it. Even from the beginning, I loved the homages. Like the very opening of the film, it kind of reminded me of Back to the Future with the kitchen and the stepdad Todd watching like an old black and white film, and he's laughing, kind of like George McFly. And then if you notice, there's this music in the film, like this, the score at the beginning, it has like a Huey Lewis Power of Love type sound to it in some of the parts. So you can hear and see all of the homages, right? This whole movie is filled with it. There's a whole scene that's like a parody of Meatloaf, which was awesome. The ritual chants throughout the movie that the villain gives Bartok is kind of like an homage to Child's Play 1, Charles Lee Ray, when he's putting himself on the doll. So many Easter eggs in this movie. And even where he works, I don't know why what does he call himself? The Patty Slinger. Like, his restaurant, something about the animation of the patty that's chasing him in the dream and all, it reminded me of Better Off Dead, because that's what happens in Better Off Dead. He has like a fever dream. He's in the restaurant, and so there's a lot of things in there that homages. You can tell he's a fan of 80s stuff, right? And the movie itself has sort of like a vibe of like, it's kind of like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. It's that kind of vibe where you have this character that's very like eccentric and entertaining, and you're going along this ride for them. And his character, you could see him taking this character and being like a horror host with it, because it definitely has that sort of vibe to it. But yeah, there's so many things in this movie. It's almost like one of those things where you're watching it and you need multiple rewatches just to catch all of the things you're missing. Even there is a part in the movie, I'm trying to get out of spoilers, not give away too much, but there's little things like there's a scene where they go into a room and they're talking to a box demon. And I don't know if you guys thought this, but I immediately thought of the Boglins when I saw this thing.
Yeah, I felt that too. And that's Jason Marsden.
Okay.
Which I didn't know until the credits. Like, I was watching the credits, I'm like, oh, Jason Marsden did the voice of that, that was cool.
Yeah, it's there's so many, and the lines, I mean, my gosh, there's so many lines in this movie that are hilarious. The one, it was like when he was talking about the marshmallow fluff and he's trying to open the door, and he's talking about putting it on, like, I'm talking English muffins, I'm talking Pop-Tarts. He's
like, burritos. I don't know.
Yeah. But in this movie is it really is filmed very well. The acting is good. There's the camera works great. There's even scenes in it that were emotional, even with him, like kind of explaining his character. So I don't have much more to say about it, but it really kind of blew me away how much I liked it. It's an A+ for me.
It's one of the most quotable films I've seen in a very long time. And the emotional part is a big chunk of what I want to talk about. So after TJ, we'll get back around to that.
Yeah, John, I knew you would pick up on the that kind of almost Jimmy Hart WCW parody version of Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News, because it perfectly was just like a hair off from being just without the lyrics, the Power of Love song, which is great. But yeah, love letter to the 80s. So I didn't know anything about this character or who Andrew Bowser is or anything about this. I had just in the last couple of weeks been seeing advertisements through Screenbox because I had subscribed to Screenbox, have for a while. That this is I think one of their first real original like feature length films that they've greenlit and have kind of made, I guess, in house, or I don't know if they made it and were in on the production side or if they just bought it after it was made and made an exclusive, because they have some things that are exclusive for a period of time to their platform, but then the licenses get on other platforms too. This from my understanding will always be just on Screenbox because of whatever their deal was, because it's a Screenbox original and exclusive. So whatever
I think
that
I may be wrong, but I think they bought it. He did the Kickstarter and raised the money. I think they bought it from him for release.
yeah, well, obviously they felt really good about it because they're making this kind of one of their tentpole flagship. Ever since Blade Disgusting took over curating content when Cinedigm bought Screenbox out about a year ago, and then they kind of let off with Terrifier 2 being one of their first big branded things. I see the sky's the limit for Screenbox and their original content and what they're going to be doing. And if this is any indication of what's to come, this and that amazing RoboCop documentary, which is like a 4-part, 6-hour plus long, maybe the best documentary I've ever seen on just a singular film, just because of how expansive in every aspect from development to post-production and legacy that thing is. I'm super jazzed about what's coming, and this film is, I knew nothing about this character, and it's great. It's basically like the horror comedy version of Borat, right? It's like you either believe in the character and you're along for the ride, or it's not your thing. And I could see some people thinking this was just a little overly campy and weird. But if this is your vibe, which it's a lot of horror fans' vibe, it's my vibe. I think it's all of our vibe. So, man, I think this is. And we just did a show on When Evil Lurks, which I said I think is the best made scary horror film of the year. I don't think anything's going to change that in the next couple months. However, I think this is the most rewatchable and fun horror film of the year, horror comedy. It's hard to call this a straight horror film, although there are horrific moments. There's some great special makeup effects. There's some good like optical effects and stuff with some of the magic stuff and like CG. It doesn't look like the cheap like Sci-Fi Channel original CG, the little bit of CG they do use to kind of spice up some stuff. It's a really well made film. Andrew Bowser, I'm going to be discovering who this guy is, and hopefully we can get him on the show at some point. And it'd be great to get him on in character. That'd be a riot. That could be fun. But anyway, I apparently he's been doing this character for like 8 or 10 years. So now I got to go back into the annals of YouTube and discover more of this stuff, because everything I'm seeing is just pure comedy gold. And I gotta discover more of it. It reminds me of back in the MySpace days and the early YouTube days when I discovered there was something with a ninja that I got big into, like Ask a Ninja. Did anybody get into that?
I remember that, but I don't know that I ever got into it now.
I bought the DVDs of that thing because I loved it so much, and it was so obscure, and it was just a ridiculous character, just totally just living into the character and stuff like that. Like sometimes that just hits me right where I want to be, you know. It's fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. But having said that, this guy, Andrew Bowser, he wrote and directed this thing. Looks like he got it off the ground and got it funded. And so this is a labor of love, and you can really tell the attention to detail and the story structure. Usually a horror comedy that goes past 90-ish minutes. This is about an hour and 50 minutes, I think, all done. But it doesn't feel like it overstays its welcome. And like Jay said, it's probably one of the most quotable films of all time already. I've only seen it once. If this gets a physical release, I'm gonna get the Blu-ray, because this, especially if it has any good special features, because I want to see more about how they made this thing. And it does, spoiler alert, leave it open for a sequel, and I hope that they're able to have a lot of success with it with Screenbox and Greenlight, and be able to be in on the productions and maybe make a series of these things, because I think they could totally, every couple of years, knock one of these things out. And that character could live in perpetuity. He could be 80 years old and just put on the voice and the robe or whatever, the hat, the fedora. As a former fedora lover that my wife made me get rid of, I appreciate a good commitment to the fedora for comedic purposes. But I don't have a whole lot more to say about it. I didn't know a whole lot about this character coming in. I love this character. Literally, just about everything that comes out of Onyx's mouth is worth rewinding and repeating, and it could be a T-shirt. So many things popped me and made me laugh on this thing that I was not expecting. I thought this would be maybe just a little left to center, being a little too goofy, and I might not be in the mood for it. But even though I wasn't really in the mood for it, because I watched it really kind of in between trying to do work and stuff, and then I blocked 2 hours, and this thing had me from the first 2 minute opening, and I was along for the ride. And I think a lot of people's going to be along for the ride. And what do you think, Jay?
So I loved it. Obviously, I've been excited about it for a while. I came across Andrew. There was a movie came out in 2010 called Jimmy Tupper versus the Goat Man of Bowie that he's in, where he's a drunk. His friends leave him in the woods, and then he claims he was attacked by this goat man. So it's him trying to catch this goat man. It was fantastic. So that turned me on to him early, and then his YouTube videos are funny. It's been especially funny with this release because he's been doing all these different takes. He even did his version of Hot Ones where he's doing the wing challenge himself, and he's feeding off of previous video footage of the host Sean, and he's like answering, like drinking milk and like pouring all this. Like, it's hilarious. I highly recommend it. He's a genius. I was like I said, it's been on my radar. It was only in theaters for one night, and I don't think it played around here. I may be wrong.
That must have been one of those Fathom event things, like Slaughterhouse.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been itching to watch it. So I'm glad we got the screener. Screenbox, thank you again. So it's a 98% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. That tells you how the audience feels about it. I think it's a 65 critic score, which is what I'm going to get into instead of talking about this movie at length and spoiling it for people, because this is truly something I want you to watch. If you're listening to this, I want you to watch this movie. And after I watched it the first time, I wanted to go back and watch it again because it's just so funny. And
this isn't shilling because we got into Screenbox and they let us get a screener early, because we'd be as honest as we can be, and we might not shit on it quite as much as as we do on some episodes, but right. We would be honest. I think this is the best, most watchable horror movie I've watched this year.
I dare somebody to shit on it without it being something to do with the runtime, because even then at $1.50, I was still kind of wanting more, and I watched the credits to the end. Mm-hmm. It's one of the best horror comedies I've seen in a long time. When we think of horror comedy, we think of Tucker and Dale versus Evil, Beetlejuice,
Shaun of the Dead.
But to me, this
Ghostbusters.
This deserves to be named along with all those, if I'm being completely honest. And it just came out, and we just recorded an episode of When Evil Lurks. This is coming out. That episode's not out yet, but in that episode, I said When Evil Lurks is the best horror film of 2023. That was true until the next day, today, when I watched this. This is number one with a bullet. And it's completely different. When Evil Lurks, I don't recommend everybody to watch it because you're probably not going to like it. This one, I highly recommend it. So going back to the reviews, this is what I jumped on the most. I was just doing a little bit of research on it, and I read some reviews, and I agree with most of them except one person. His name was Mike McGranahan, and he's from Aisle Seat, whatever that is. I assume it's an online movie review site. But this is what he said. He said, there isn't a single sincere moment. Bullshit, dude. Like, what movie were you watching?
The whole thing's sincere. It's just
the whole thing is
character.
sincere, and even from the get-go, because Onyx has a rough day at work, he comes home and he's praying to God or Satan, whoever is available, to get him out of this life because he hates his life. We feel his pain in the first 5-10 minutes, and this guy's saying there's not a single sincere moment. That was 100% sincere. I felt that because I've lived that myself.
Yeah, who hasn't been there with a shitty job at some point?
Yeah, and I've wished for a better life many times, and that was as sincere as you can get. There's other like kind of subtle sincere moments, but one of the big one that this guy somehow fucking went to take a dump when it happened was when he asked the box demon why his dad left. So one of the things about him, I mean, we can call him autistic. Like, he's 100% on the spectrum, this character. Whether Andrew is, I don't know, he may be. But this character is 100%. He talks funny, he talks fast, and he always says, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. After like almost everything, he's like, I don't know. So he gets this box demon that's supposed to reveal to you your deepest fears, I think is what it was. And he says, why did my dad leave? And it goes to the flashback of his dad leaving, and he's like, "What? Why are you leaving?" His dad's like, "I don't know." That's heartbreaking because that it's like if you're a Game of Thrones fan,
I wasn't expecting like that moment of like emotional impact.
Yeah,
like 3/4 through the movie.
It wasn't set up for that at all. You know, like I think Kellen, he's not. We record this one early because we were just trying to fit it in on our schedule, so he's not here with us. But he sent us a quote like, "Why are all these goddamn spider webs at mouth length?" Because he kept walking in the spider webs and they would always go straight into his mouth. Like, and then it goes to this moment where, you know, his dad's leaving. Why are you leaving? I don't know. And then he has this tick the rest of his life. I don't know. I don't know. You know, and it's like Hodor from Game of Thrones. Like Hodor was hold the door, and it slowly went to Hodor. So super emotional. So Mike McGranahan from Aisle Seat, go fuck yourself. Watch the movie again like a normal person and realize that it's full of sincere moments. That like truly pissed me off. And if you know me well enough, you know I have an addictive personality. This movie is gonna fall into that. Like, I want everybody to watch it. I'm gonna make Lindsay watch it. Like, she's probably not gonna enjoy it because our humor is different. But I want everybody to watch it. I want my mom to watch it. Like, I just want everybody to watch this movie because it was so good from start to finish, and it was funny, and you can quote it all day, every day. I also like that they did a real demon, Abaddon, which is from the Book of Revelations. He was known as the Destroyer, Angel of the Abyss. Like, I enjoyed that. TJ takes like, I can't believe that was Jeffrey Combs. Like, I knew it was. He does look very unrecognizable until he speaks.
You can tell by the voice, but this is the weirdest
Herbert West
I've
is in the
seen.
house.
Yeah.
Well, he's got the bald and then the one eye.
Yeah. But he was fantastic. The whole cast was fantastic. The whole premise. You can follow him, Andrew, on YouTube, which I highly recommend doing that as well. He's got a bunch of little short videos leading up to this film release, including when he was doing the Kickstarter for it. And they're all super funny and original. One I just watched before we came on, he goes to Disneyland and tries to eat all the Halloween treats in 60 minutes. And he's like struggling, but it's so funny, and he's in character the whole time. So highly recommend it.
I don't believe him about the McDonald's pills either in that video.
But watch that one too. Like, you've seen the videos where celebrities most Googled questions of themselves. He did one. Obviously, it's not real, but like the third question is, why does he fuck McDonald's Halloween buckets? And he's like, well, I don't do that. And then like the questions with that continue on, like, how does he know, you know, what to put inside of it to make it feel better if he doesn't do it? Blah, 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 blah. It's super funny. That's probably there was one with Pedro Pascal and his bestie that played Moon Knight. They did one together, and it was hilarious. But very, very funny movie. It's streaming on Screenbox tomorrow, August the 14th, Tuesday. November the 14th.
We're going back in time with Huey Lewis.
Back in time.
Hey, back to the future.
And again, 7-day free trial. There's no reason for you not to check this movie out. So we'll go around and do our rankings. I know we talk about like God tier, and Halloween's always going to be God tier. Halloween's always going to be number 1. And I gave When Evil Lurks 5, and I'll be damned, I'm going to give this one a 5 too. Because like I said, like, there's very few occasions, I don't know, where I watch a movie and I want to rewatch it instantly. And I could have watched this movie all day today. I don't know. You know, I could have. And for me, and just the feeling it gave me, the enjoyment that I felt, I have to go with 5. What about you, John?
Yeah, I can totally get that. I think this, and I would say that my favorite straight up horror film of the year was Sick. But horror comedies, I love this and I love Renfield. I do think this is better than Renfield, even though I love Renfield. I think this is a better movie. And that character is like, he's kind of like a modern version of like if Pee Wee or Ernest P. Worrell were out now. It's kind of like that vibe, right? It's like someone that could do TV, could do commercials, he could do movies. Like it's addicting, and you just everything. Like you were talking about earlier, the whole "Dear God" or the devil, like that. I still like that was like the funniest line to me in the whole movie. He's praying. But I think for me, there's room to grow with it. I don't think it's perfect, but it is awesome. Oh, I do love the movie. I think the only negative I could even point out in it maybe is just that without Onyx makes the movie, right? He is the glue to everything. And that's not a negative. It's just that like it's almost like when you're watching The Dark Knight, you're waiting for the Joker to come on the screen.
Well, it's like the Borat thing, right? It's like you're not going to have a Borat movie without Borat.
Right. So I would say for now, I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 5. It's room to grow. I go in between, but I'm going to start at 4. And over time, who knows, it may go up.
Yeah. TJ?
Isn't 4 out of 5 what you said for When Evil Lurks too, John?
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. So I
think you might have been 4.5 for that one.
Yeah, one of those.
4
it was
or
one of those.
Yeah.
I was 4.5 on Evil Lurks,
Okay.
and I'm going 4.5. If I rewatch this a few times, it could get up to 5, but I'm going 4.5 on Onyx, the Fortuitous, and the Talisman.
So that's a solid 4.5. And this is not kissing ass because Screenbox was nice enough to send us a screener. Like,
no, if I didn't like it, I would say I didn't like it.
Yeah, and like you said, like when a physical release comes out, I don't care if it's bare bones. That's when we take a shot every time TJ says bare bones.
Bare bones.
Even if it's bare bones, I don't give a shit. Like
Shudder is the king of bare bones releases.
Yes, they are.
There you go.
So before we wrap it up, when we were talking back and forth all day, there were 2 quotes that made me laugh. There were several quotes that made me laugh out loud, but 2 that I shared with you guys was one where he's like, "Oh fuck, she's a ghoul," and like he looks at the one of the shades, like it was just so quick and so funny. And then the other one was in the beginning where he had the little Battle Cats figures, and he's like, "God damn, I wanted that minifig so bad." Like that, just little things like that was just so funny.
And we were texting each other as we were all watching it, and one that I had mentioned earlier was the only thing that's ever touched my wee is my never washed pair of Battle Cats underoos.
Oh, it was fantastic, and I'm pretty sure this was a fairly spoiler-free episode. So bravo, guys, give yourself a hand. This was a quick one, but that's okay. We all loved it. Go watch it. 4.5 on Screenbox tomorrow, November 14th. So that's a wrap for this episode. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to wherever you're listening to this podcast. Follow us on Instagram. And if you have Amazon Music, check us out there. We have a playlist featuring music and artists from the episodes we've done so far. And go download Screenbox. You won't be disappointed. I know TJ has it. I have it. I don't know if John has it or not, but I actually got it when it first came out. And it didn't really have that many great movies and things on it now, but it's blown up. And like, I think the only thing holding Shudder together is Joe Bob. If Joe Bob leaves, Shudder, it's done.
Yeah, Shudder's done.
I'm calling it. Within the next 5 years, they will piss off Joe Bob. Joe Bob won't be on Shudder. If Screenbox TV could get Joe Bob, that would be like a coup of all coups. But Joe Bob or no Joe Bob, I think in the next 5 years, Screenbox becomes #1 horror streaming service, just because Bloody Disgusting is doing a bang up job on curating their content. Look at the content they've added in the last year over there.
They got Terrifier, don't they? I think.
Yeah, that was their first like real original co-branded thing.
I just read a thing that said Hollywood pulled funding for Terrifier 3 because of the opening scene, which I assume is the trailer. I don't know how accurate that was. I didn't read the article, but I'll be interested to see if that happens or not. All right. Anyways, tomorrow, Screenbox, 7-day free trial. Go watch it. This is what he looks like right here. And, send us quotes on Instagram. We'll respond back. All right. Signing off. I'm Jay with John and TJ. And until next time,
Keep it spooky.
Just cause I'm pretty, everybody's jealous. Prince like a kitty when I go by the fellas. I'm turning heads, everybody wanna see. It's so glamorous to get to be me. It's getting snowy, colder than the North Pole. Got scarves and mittens, a fur hat and a mink stole. But I can't rock nothing I already got without those disco dancing shoes I want. This place is like a prison, come and set me free. Oh, 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 yeah. I'll set this tree on fire if I don't get what I need. You know what to get me. There's only one thing I got on my wish list. I better get them cha-cha heels for Christmas, because I wanna wear them now.
What are these?
Those are your new shoes, Dawn.
These aren't the kind I wanted. I told you cha-cha heels, black ones.
Nice girls don't wear
Aw, give me those presents back. I'm never gonna wear these ugly shoes. I told you the kind I wanted. You ruined my Christmas.
Please, Dawn.
Oh, get off me, you ugly witch.
There's only one thing I got on my wish list. I better get them cha-cha heels for Christmas. Hey, mom and dad, I want them now. Now once I get them, I'm never gonna share them. And don't you tell me the nice girls never wear them. Been good all year, just as sweet as the devil. But I'll take evil to a whole nother level. You say a home for girls is where I oughta be. Oh, 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 yeah. Well, go ahead and call them if you want some broken knees. You know what to get me. There's only one thing I got on my wish list. I better get them cha-cha heels for Christmas, because I wanna wear them now. You'll hear me dancing down the halls. The boys be climbing up the walls. I wanna cha-cha in them now. There's only one thing I got on my wish list. I better get them cha-cha heels for Christmas, because I wanna wear them now. There's only one thing I got on my wish list. I better get them cha-cha heels for Christmas. Hey, mom and dad, I want them now.
This one's different. Trust me.
We're just. Put the gun down before you kill someone.
Teenage girls' diary.
Hello, and welcome to another Dollar Store Drive-In. I'm your host, Laura,
I'm Joel.
and we're the Newly Dads.
We are.
And this week, instead of what we normally would do, which is watch a movie and then review said movie, we're doing a special week. What are we doing, Joel?
People like lists. We like lists. So we're doing 5 holiday-themed horror films that we enjoy. We're doing 5 each, so these don't have to be top anything. They don't have to be favorites. They don't have to be anything other than films that we enjoy that are specifically based around a holiday. Not necessarily Halloween or Christmas. They could be any holiday, but those are probably the 2 most prevalent that people think about when it comes to holiday-themed horror. And this is a good way to spark conversation, so that way if you have thoughts on this, you have other ones you'd like to suggest, you're like, I never heard of that, or that's my favorite, or whatever, you can email us at contact@thenewlydads.com. You can go to our Facebook page, you can put something on the page itself, or you can message us directly. Or if it is 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Wednesday night, you can hop on over to tinglertelevision.com. We are typically in the chat. Every once in a while we're not there, especially during the holiday season. We have other things that come up sometimes. But you can talk with one or both of us. We will be there ideally every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Yep.
So, yeah, we can talk about this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
Whatever you got.
So this is going to be kind of like a loose show because we don't really have anything planned out really for it other than the fact that he chose 5 movies and I chose 5 movies. The requirements are that we had to have seen them beforehand.
They're ones that we enjoy.
And ones that we enjoy.
Don't have to be a favorite.
And they have to be holiday themed.
That's pretty much it.
Not necessarily holiday themed, but take place during a holiday.
Correct. Yeah.
We tried to choose different holidays for each.
To some extent, yeah.
Yeah. And I think we succeeded.
Yeah, and I tried to be a little bit esoteric as much as I could, but there's only so many movies to choose from, and sometimes you got to go with a big one because that's the one that you like the most or that you really wanted to talk about. So what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, since it is a little loose, I find that as long as you have something different to talk about and you don't have the same things, we did check with each other to make sure that we don't have the same. I don't know what her list is. She knows what mine is, and
He's
that way
100% seen all of the ones that are on my list.
that way we make sure that there's no crossover, and conversation gets sparked pretty easily when you are talking about stuff that you like.
Yeah.
And the hat is really itchy, by the way, because I don't have any hair, but I put it on just as a joke, and she said she thought it was cute. So
he kept it.
When your wife tells you that something is cute and she wants you to wear it, you do it. Not out of any sort of requirement, but just because you love her.
I love you too.
I thought I'd get her to say it. Now I got it on tape.
You have it on tape a lot.
I do have it on a lot of things. I have it in writing. Like we have a document that legally requires her to say that.
Requires me to say it?
Does it? If we run short on time, perhaps I'll throw trailers in or something else to fill the gaps. I don't think we're going to have a problem with it. If anything, I think we might go over.
Yeah.
Especially with me continuing to talk.
The problem with me is sometimes I have gaps in my memory. So I know I've seen a movie, but then I'll forget parts of it or whatever. But then he sometimes can spark memories in my head. So when we're talking about things, so
that's why I'm saying I think we'll be fine. She was a little nervous about it. I
am nervous about this.
And we're wearing holiday themed horror shirts as well. So all right.
Do you want to go first?
And these are in no particular order.
Yeah, mine is too. Yeah.
I started writing them based on when the holiday fell, in order of the holidays, but then I realized that didn't work out quite, I don't think. Just looking at my list now, that's not a typical 12 month. Yeah, these aren't exactly in order, so anyway.
Yeah, mine are not in any order at all, date-wise or preference.
It's very itchy.
So take it off.
Yeah, but now people have seen it. Now they are like, man, that hat looks great, or that hat is funny. And so I'd rather leave it on.
It's
and
a
then
little
later
witch
on,
hat.
it'll
He
be
looks
very,
adorable.
Very itchy. All right, what did you say? I'm first?
I said, do you want to go first?
Oh.
Or do you want me to go first?
If I go first, I'm going to move one that I have later on further up, because that way they are in chronological order. Weird. Okay. So my first pick actually is a Halloween film that takes place during the Halloween season. It is the 2004 Jeff Lieberman classic that if you've not seen it, why? And I introduced it to my wife after we met. It is Satan's Little Helper. Do you remember that movie?
No.
Not to be confused with Santa's Little Helper, the Simpsons dog. No, Satan's Little Helper is on the shelf. It is a movie about a unknown serial killer who doesn't speak, who wears a Satan mask and a trench coat looking thing. He goes around this small town just murdering people randomly and then placing them out as like Halloween decorations or whatever, dumpsters, wherever he can. There's no like rhyme or reason. He never speaks. You never see his face. They don't ever give any backstory on him. He just shows up, and at the end of the movie, he's still there. So there was room for a sequel, which has never happened, unfortunately. But it stars Amanda Plummer as the mom in the movie. And so Satan's Little Helper runs into this little kid who plays a game of the same name. And the kid thinks that this is the Satan from the game. And so he decides to help Satan to achieve his goal of murdering people. And so they go on a killing rampage together, essentially, until the kid realizes that
It's real.
It's real, and then things go sideways.
I do vaguely remember that.
If you've not seen it, I love this film. Yes, it has some shortcomings, but Jeff Lieberman did a great job of putting something together that is kind of familiar but unfamiliar at the same time. There are some issues with the effects.
I like Amanda Plummer.
But Amanda Plummer is great, and Catherine Willett, I think is her name, is the other co-star who plays his sister. And yeah, I've seen it I watch it almost every year at least once. I didn't watch it this year actually, but highly recommend it. So
highly recommend.
Joel Bob says check it out.
Joel Bob. It's funny when because I'm taking notes like as he's like saying his stuff or whatever because it's fun. And I like taking notes.
She does.
That's my life. But I spelled Amanda Plummer wrong.
Oh.
I spelled it like plumber.
Oh, like Plumber, plumber.
Then I was like,
yeah, it's 2 M's.
Cool. Yeah. I vaguely remember that movie.
It's on my collage. Yeah, I drew on my collage.
Oh. Okay. That was a Halloween movie, you said, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with my Halloween movie, and you'll know pretty quickly. Well, I'm just gonna tell you that I really enjoy anthology movies, movies that have like several different stories in them that all have like a through line kind of thing. Yeah, it's like my jam, and I realized that.
You did the whole list.
No,
Oh.
but 2 of the movies that are on here. And then I've got a bunch that I wrote down on the side here that are ones that I want to see, and they also happen to be anthology movies.
Okay.
So, I'm sure if you're a horror fan, this is not a dig deep into a, pit of like movies that no one's heard of kind of thing. This is a very like common, he's everywhere kind of thing. I chose Trick or Treat.
I figured that was it.
It's from 2007. If you haven't seen it, it is an anthology movie. I've been watching it every year now for the last several years, or at least I try to. Sam is the person, the character that is the through line through the whole thing. Also kind of they all kind of like intertwine with you. You can hear, because it's the same town, so like you can hear people from like one of the scenes, and then you see a character in a couple of the different ones too, right? Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah.
So they're all interconnected, which is awesome.
But Sam is kind of the antagonist.
I did take some notes as far as like I cannot read my own freaking writing. It's like at 6.8 out of 10 in the Internet Movie Database, and then it's like 82% at Rotten Tomatoes, I think. So that's pretty dang good for a horror movie. And Joel always says like anything over 50%, right?
Oh, anything over a 6 on Internet Movie Database is worth watching, for sure.
Right, but like for Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, I don't know.
I always thought you said it was like anything over 50% you thought was good.
I don't know.
Oh, you were just saying like in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you going to say before I interrupted?
That my kid doesn't like it. They
Trick or
found
Treat?
They found it to be kind of meh.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie.
A lot of big fans out there.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's not like a, ooh, I've never heard of that movie before, because you walk into any, like, Spirit Halloween, and there's Sam, like, a whole section for Trick or Treat. So,
Everywhere.
anyways, I love it, and I will always say that it's on, like, my top. I would say it's my top 5 all-time Halloween movies, anyways. So,
All right. My number two, my second one is 1987's Blood Rage. It's not cranberry sauce. Low budget slasher. There were several different iterations of it because they just kept recutting it. About a twin killer. Well, twins. One of them is killer, one is not, which is which. And it takes place at Thanksgiving, just in case I didn't mention that.
It's really good.
What?
It's really good.
It's one of those movies that you love it or you hate it. It's kind of gotten a resurgence thanks to it getting found and then being reissued on a boutique Blu-ray label. I believe it was an Arrow release actually, and so it's got a new life, and that's how I found it. I love it, and
it's not cranberry sauce.
If you want a movie that takes place at Thanksgiving, but doesn't necessarily mean it is a Thanksgiving film, it's one to watch, and it is one you will remember and you will talk about with your friends.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay, so my number 2, I'm going to go with My Bloody Valentine, which is very, very much a Valentine's Day movie.
1981 or
yes.
2000? Oh,
1981, yeah. It is at 6.2 out of 10 on the Internet Movie Database, and then 58% on Rotten Tomatoes, which again, what Joel was saying is anything over 6.
A 6 is my like. I'll watch things that are below that, but if it's a 6 or above, generally speaking, it's something that's
because there's one that's on here that's surprising to me.
That it's lower.
Yeah, but like good Rotten Tomatoes score, but like lower on the IMDb.
IMDb is is all fan based. It's not so much critical as critics based as Rotten Tomatoes.
But yeah, what he was saying when he asked me like the year or whatever, it has been remade, so you can watch either one if you want to. But
they're both
the one
good.
The one that I was referring to that we watched together is the 1981 one.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
With Harry Warden.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The minor.
Yes. So basically, it is a slasher film where a person who dies or supposedly dies in a mine comes back to start killing for revenge.
Yeah, because it took place that he died on Valentine's Day, and then doesn't want anything to do with Valentine in the town, and anytime they try and bring it back, he gets upset.
Yes, and starts the killings.
But if you want to see, the remake is with Jared Padalecki, and it is in 3D, and it is quite good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed that as well.
Recommended.
But, yeah, that's my number 2.
My third choice here, we're jumping forward to Christmas now. This one is one that's grown on me. When I first saw it, I did not like it. I watched it again, and I liked it a little more. Then I saw it with Joe Bob, and that made me like it a little more. And then eventually it's on the shelf, as is Blood Rage. So far, actually all the movies on my list are on the shelf, so we'll just leave it at that. This is 1980's Christmas Evil. Not to be confused with Silent Night, Deadly Night, or any of the other Christmas-themed horror films. This one is about a disgruntled toy factory worker who kind of is starting to lose his grip on reality. And he is trying to bring the joy of Christmas back to people that just don't seem to get it anymore. And things get a little bloody. It's not over the top in terms of like blood, guts, gore, and icky stuff. Mm-hmm. It's a very much more like subtle kind of psychological thriller in a way about a guy who's becoming unglued.
Yep, losing his mind.
There is some death. There is some murder, some stabbing. But then there's the ending, which makes you go, was this all real? Was it a dream?
Right.
What the hell just happened? And it makes you wonder if people's vans back then were equipped differently than they are now. But it's one of those movies that over time, every time I see it, I get something more out of it. And the lead actor that I'm forgetting now, I'll put a little note here about it, is it's a fun little bit of trivia, so I'll put that there. And yeah, it's something I watch. We've started to watch almost once a year now.
Yeah, we need to watch that again this year.
Gets me every time.
Did we watch it last year? I think so.
We did.
Yeah. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not your typical horror movie.
My movie for Christmas is also kind of similar in the psychological, or like somebody losing their marbles kind of. I chose A Christmas Horror Story.
Oh, okay.
It is very similar, actually, as far as like that's concerned.
There is some definitely parallels.
Is it real? Is it not real? Yeah, it totally is. It's actually pretty sad. If you haven't seen A Christmas Horror Story, I highly recommend it. It's from 2015. This is the one that I was saying that is like, it's a 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb.
It's not got as much of a life as I feel like it should have.
But it's 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, so it's like kind of like a big
is that
swing.
Critic?
I didn't. I just looked at
I have a feeling the critics liked it more than the audience did. But yeah,
I like this movie. It's I mean, William Shatner's in it, so
we watch it. We've watched it almost every year now. I think.
Yeah.
We showed it to my youngest, who likes horror movies. We showed it to them this last year, and they also were.
It's also like
impressed.
a interwoven story, so it's kind of like an anthology-ish.
Yeah, there is a through line.
Yeah, there's a definite through line, and William Shatner is like the linchpin of the whole thing. Anyways, like he is this isn't going to ruin anything. He's a radio DJ, right? Yeah. Where he's kind of narrating the story, but not really.
He's also a participant.
Yes. Yeah, he's a character in the story as well. So, it's really good. I think that I like all the different stories and all the different aspects.
It's clever and I feel like was a good twist. Like the first time I saw the twist at the end, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, there's like Santa stuff really, in it, elf stuff in it.
Krampus.
There's Krampus stuff in it.
Zombies.
There's zombies and changeling.
Changeling, yeah. I don't see changelings a lot.
That's not a common thing to see a whole lot. But yeah,
there's a lot going on.
Yeah, and like I said, I like those kind of stories because I also like narrations. So, shows and movies that have a narrator that kind of start things off. It just reminds me of like a fairy tale, and so I think I just realized that's like why I think I like it. It's because it's like somebody telling me a story. So that's why I like Christmas Horror Story, and it's actually called Horror Story. So yeah, check it out.
So then my fourth one on the list here is one that we've just started watching together, and now has become our standard New Year's movie, which is 1980 also. New Year's Evil, which there's a couple of well-known New Year's horror films, but this one is about a radio DJ who is hosting a New Year's Eve party with a new wave punk band. I forget what the thing
Horrible. Is. It's not new wave punk.
It's not punk. I don't know what it is.
It's supposed to be new wave, but like all the people there are all like punk rock looking kind of people, and they're all like,
I don't know. It's a strange thing.
Yeah, they don't know what's going on.
But there's a killer that is calling into her show, taunting her about that they're killing somebody every hour on the hour until the clock strikes midnight, and they're
and it's midnight in each of the time zones.
Oh, that's right. In the 4 time zones,
they're in California. Yeah.
Each time it turns midnight in another time zone. That's right.
So it's like New Year's in New York, so someone dies. New Year's in Chicago, someone dies. Like New Year's in the
because she's on the
Mountain
West
Time,
Coast,
someone dies. Yeah, she's in California.
But then during the whole point, the killer calls in and says, "This is evil," and talks in like a robotic voice.
Yeah.
But
I am evil.
Our tradition has become that on New Year's Eve we get steak and shrimp and potatoes and we'll sit and we'll eat our dinner. We'll watch New Year's Evil. We'll chat about it. We'll laugh about it. And now we know the movie kind of back and forth, and it's on the shelf again. But
it's good fun.
It is a lot of fun.
I really like that movie. So yeah. Okay, so I have a New Year's Eve movie also that we just watched not that long ago. Terror Train.
Oh, I did not see that one coming.
Yeah,
Oh,
Terror
all
Train
right.
from 1980. Jamie Lee Curtis is in
Huh.
it.
Oh, I did not see that coming.
It is. It's a New Year's Eve movie though,
It
because they're
is.
on a train. Yeah.
David
and then
Copperfield's in it.
Yep. And there's some murders going on the Terror Train. So yeah, I think this is just a couple years. I mean, Jamie Lee is still pretty young. I mean, this is just a couple years after she made Halloween. So she's kind of like not a femme fatale, kind of like yeah, like she's like the chick that's sexy chick kind of thing, right? In it.
I mean, kind of, yeah. I mean, there's a killer that is murdering people on the train for they kind of, you know kind of the reason, but
Yeah.
they never wear the same mask twice because it's New Year's Eve. Everybody's wearing different masks. As
Yeah,
part of
because
the
it's like a
theme.
masquerade kind of like thing that they're doing.
So every time the killer could be anybody because every time they show up, they're wearing a different mask, and
Right.
a different costume.
Yep. Yep.
And then the reveal at the end is kind of amazing in a funny kind of way. So
Yeah. Yeah. I like twist endings and stuff. So, I mean, who doesn't like a twist ending? But
M. Night Shyamalan. Oh wait, no, he loves twist endings. Never mind.
oh yeah, M. Night Shyamalan is a twist ending. His name's not even M. Night Shyamalan.
Whoa! And this has been remade recently. I didn't even know it was a thing that was remade, but it was remade. Must have gone into public domain or something because it is not a good-looking remake, and the remake has a sequel. So I don't think we're
See,
gonna
he
watch
knows
it.
so many things about all of the things.
Terror Train.
Terror Train.
Good choice.
Yeah. I thought I was like pretty proud of myself. I was like patting myself on the back.
good.
Oh, just needless to say, it's 44% on Rotten Tomatoes, but 8 out of 10
Oh, yikes!
on IMDb.
Interesting. I feel like Prom Night is probably the same way. So my last movie stars the Chin, as Laura refers to her. I'm a fan of the Chin.
I refer to
You
it?
refer to her as the Chin.
Her?
Yeah. Redhead.
The big-headed lady?
Doesn't it call her the Chin, or is it just call her Big Head?
Big-head.
Maria Thayer is who we're talking about. I love
Sorry.
Maria Thayer. She is fantastic.
You are
She's
fantastic.
Funny. She's like a Lucille Ball kind of, just kind of attractive but comedic, feminine, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, she's great. The movie I'm talking about is 2015's Night of the Living Deb,
Oh,
which
right.
comes. It's an Independence Day film. It takes place during 4th of July. And so she wakes up in the morning from a one-night stand. The guy that's next to her, there's this whole like interplay, and then they go outside, come to find out that the zombie apocalypse has happened. Ray Wise is in it, who is just one of those actors that he always gives 10,000%, and it is just a fun zombie movie that is a little different than you would expect from a zombie film. So if you've not seen Night of the Living Deb, on the shelf, recommended.
And then my final film is from 2009, and it's an Easter film, and it's Dead Snow.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I always forget that it's an Easter film.
And there's a sequel, Dead Snow 2.
Yes.
Red versus Dead.
Yes.
Or,
Red. Yeah. It is like Red Dead Redemption almost, but like, yeah, it's something Red versus Dead.
Red, yeah. But
Yeah.
there is a sequel, and they're both,
Yeah. If you've never seen Dead Snow, it is a Nazi zombie movie.
which is a subgenre of zombie films.
Yes.
Nazi
and it's
zombies.
very good. It's very gory.
Funny.
Super bloody. Very funny. Not
Really
very
well
funny,
done.
But funny. Yeah.
It's very well
it is.
done.
It is. It's 68% on Rotten Tomatoes,
That's surprising.
but 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
I feel like that's a low cutting. The second one is not quite as good, but it's a lot bigger, and there's some stuff that happens in that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And if you like those movies, there is another movie from the same area called Attack of the Lederhosen Zombies. That
Sounds amazing.
yeah, check it. I thought it was going to be totally like lame and goofy lame, but in a good way.
Yeah.
And it was not what I was expecting. It's good though.
Yeah.
Anyway, Good choice.
Thanks. I know I stole it because like he showed me like which ones he was gonna do, and I was like really like struggling. I was going through my list, and I was like, I'm like I really want to do Dead Snow, and like
I had extras just in case.
I had written down New Year's Evil too because that's one that him and I watch all the
It's a
time.
thing.
And Blood Rage. And I was like, oh well, that's easy.
That's
and
our
I was
standards.
like, and then I looked at his list. I was like, he's got 3 of those.
Speaking of which,
that I
Blood
wanna
Rage,
do.
we're going to be watching here sometime in the next couple of weeks.
I know because it's gonna be Thanksgiving here.
And the one that didn't make the list.
Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Yep.
Should have made the list, but I needed to go with the more esoteric choice first. Because more people, I
Because
think,
that's
know
what he likes.
Thanksgiving than
That's the
Blood
word I
Rage.
was trying to think of. Esoteric.
Esoteric. I like to try and expose you to new things, perhaps.
Yes.
But I'm not going so far left to center that you've never heard of it, which is doable.
Yeah.
What?
I was going to talk about a couple different things. Do we have time for me to talk about some that I want to see?
You got like a minute.
A minute?
And then we need to talk about next week's movie.
All right.
So go.
Yeah, no, there's a couple that, again, anthology movies that I just want to, like, give shout-outs to that I haven't seen yet. So maybe we'll choose them for, like, a future anthology kind of thing.
Top anthology? film?
Yeah.
So
So
what
Holidays is one of them.
We've talked about that on the show, yep.
Holiday Hell.
Don't know that one.
Yeah. Happy Horror Days.
Heard of it, but not seen it.
Tons. It had tons of holidays in it. And then there's a Thanksgiving one that I want to watch called Seance.
Oh, I have heard of that. I didn't know it took place at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it said Thanksgiving. So, and then Beaster Day, Here Comes Peter Cottontail.
Yeah, there's a surprising, shocking amount
Peter
of
Cottontail?
Easter horror films.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but there's a lot of them. Whereas Arbor Day, you've got like one? Or no?
Yeah,
that's-
there was like 1 or 2 for Arbor Day.
Well,
I think one of them's called Arbor Day.
Yes, I was going to say there's one called Arbor Day, which I've seen, which I want to say Fiona Dourif's in. But,
I wonder if it's like the tree being like, do you like my decorations?
and then there's Tree Venge, but that's actually a Christmas movie. So.
Tree Venge!
Tree Venge is Canadian, and if you've not
Yes.
seen it, it's fun.
We're just going more and more and
Jason
more.
Eisner.
No, we should have talked about that. Anyways,
Tree Venge, we'll save it for another show. This is just the first run at this. Get test water, see what people think.
yeah. Let us
So-
know if you like this. If you want to see more of this, also let us know. We forgot to say this at the top of the show, but if it's 6:30 p.m. on a Wednesday, you should be talking to us. You did say that?
Yeah, because I said you should get in the chat. You can talk to us about our choices.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So let us know. Sorry about that. Let us know if you like this. And you can always go to our Facebook page and also give us comments there. So
I would like to say that for some reason in this episode, neither Bailey nor Shaggy made an appearance.
no. And like Shaggy didn't even make a sound. Well, I don't think so. Yeah.
I don't know if he did in the last episode. I think he did in the last episode briefly, but this episode he's been on right there on the other side of the camera
He's sleepy.
and has not joined us at all. But
He
we're
looks
recording
depressed.
late in the day, so
Yeah.
he's just tired.
All right. Let me see. What are we watching next week?
Next week we are watching.
RoboCroc.
This is from
Oh, Lord. This is a lot of
2013,
small print.
and it is not an asylum film, believe it or not.
My
But it does
contacts are
star
dry.
one Corin Nemec. If you are familiar and you're of our age, Parker Lewis can't lose.
Oh, yeah. All right. A top secret unnamed spacecraft disintegrates upon re-entry. Its mysterious military payload crash lands in the crocodile habitat of a place called Adventureland, a combination water park, amusement land, and world-famous crocodile exhibit. Following its pre-programmed instructions, the payload, a next-generation nanotech-based combat drone, finds a host in the form of the park's prize 20-foot Australian saltwater crocodile, Stella. She is the largest saltwater croc in captivity. Immediately upon infecting its host, the drone payload nanobots begin to transform Stella from an organic living creature into a lethal killing machine with only a single directive: survival. Well, that's sad. Doesn't that make you kind of sad?
I don't know.
It's like a sad.
It's a sad crocodile.
Yeah. This is from the director of Young Guns.
Been shot down in a blaze of glory.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't remember how the song goes. Something like that.
So anyways,
Sorry,
that's what
Bon
we're
Jovi.
watching.
All right.
All
So if you'd like to find us, you can find us at thenewlydeads.com. I'll put that somewhere in this general direction.
Yep.
And
until next week.
keep it cheap and creepy. I just like the way you went. I was trying to, pause for dramatic effect.
That was too
I was
long
debating
of a
asking
pause.
Shaggy to come over here and say hi, but
He's sleeping now.
he's tired. Oh, well.
All right. Bye.
Go look after your mother and sister. Where are you going? We gotta finish this. Goodbye, Tom.
I know, Bob, there's this fly in here. If we can turn a man into a fly, why can't we just kill them in the first place? Hey there. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Al Omega, the alpha and omega of all things science fiction and horror. Yes, Dad may be gone and Mother may have relegated me to my childhood bedroom, the attic, but the show must go on and we've got bad movies. Tonight, we got a movie that stinks so badly the flies are showing up for it. And this one is a stinker, but it's a good stinker. Tonight's movie is Zat from 1971. This movie has a very 1950s drive-in quality to it, and yet we can see the early 70s influences on it as well. So it's a really interesting movie that it bridges these two time frames. Now, this was directed by Don Barton, who left us in 2013. And he made a lot of shorts, and after this, he made a lot of documentaries. Never tried to make another movie after this one, and you'll understand why. But working in North Florida, he got a lot of awards for helping and encouraging and developing North Florida's, then I guess growing, film industry. He also did plan a sequel for this called Darn Monsters, and it was really a sequel parody sort of thing going on there. So, I don't think that ever got made, sadly. He's got a couple of kids. Who knows? Maybe they'll try to carry the torch and a pitchfork. This was written by Ron Kivett, who is viewable these days on Ancient Aliens, as you see him as himself and his new job as an investigative reporter on Ancient Aliens. Aliens. Centauri. Is also written by Leo LaRue, which I have to wonder if that is a stage name or not. Leo LaRue. Leo. Most of the people in this movie had never done a movie before, and it shows. And most of them never went off to do another movie. And this is why. There are very few exceptions. I mean, the deputy sheriff, played by Rich Valerie, was he did a couple other things. He did The Road to Wellville and Jaws 3D, a movie I found lacking. But Dr. Leopold is played by Marshall Grauer, and he gets lead billing for it. And we only see him in the first 10 minutes of it. That's it. Nothing else. And, of course, we have to talk about the monster. The monster in this is played by Wade Popwell. And what the producers did was they actually just ran an ad in the newspaper. Actor needed for a movie. Must be very tall. Have scuba experience. No acting skill necessary. And really, when you think about it, when you're wearing 200 pounds of rubber suit, your acting skills aren't essential. Mr. Popwell was 6'5", so he's 7 feet in this costume, which caused several problems. They had to cut a bunch of scenes because he would, walk in and hit his head on a tree branch or something. And I would tell them leave that in because, George Lucas left it in Star Wars. Why not in this one? And he certainly had a bigger budget. Although I don't know, this one had an estimated budget of $75,000 in 1971. That was big money. And all I can say is, where did it go? This movie has a lot of very low production values. Pay attention to the night scenes. If you watch carefully, the buildings are illuminated by the crew bringing their cars up and turning their headlights on. That's it. That's how they illuminated the scenes, because they didn't have any lights. The movie was shot in 30 days. And the lab they used does have a little bit of a history to it, because it was used in Revenge of the Creature, which is not unlike what this movie could have been called. This movie was still trying to call off the whole Nazi scientists performing hideous lab experiments, except that by 71, if you were a Nazi scientist, you probably weren't scientisting much anymore. And Mr. Grauer obviously wasn't old enough to be in World War II in any capacity, so don't know. So I'm not going to talk about too much more about this movie because it's so bad you have to see it before we can talk about it. And I don't want to spoil anything, but pay attention to the scenes. This is, of course, all pre-CG, so it's all practical effects, and some of them are pretty bad. So watch them. Some of the sound effects, not so great. But you can see they did an A for effort in it. And there's actually an ad-lib scene in it. See if you can catch the ad-lib scene. So let's get into tonight's movie, Zat, from 1971. If we had a machine in here, we could try to mutate the fly.
Battle wagon fighter, full like a missing with your love, keeps you up at night. drags you down helplessly, each step a fake. Tombstones are piling up your last mistake. We all wait for you. Give us a break. Give us a break. Sashay, a sashay through the sarcasm. Stalking, skulking through the sargassum. A plotting revenge on your friends. Plotting revenge on your friends. Plotting revenge on your friends.
The formula they all laughed at. Z sub A and A sub T. My little gem. That. Very powerful. They'll have fish the size they've never seen before. Walking fish. Who like human flesh. Secure the electrodes to the denticulated portions of the pectoral spine. Tape an extra lead from the cathode through a 12 megohm potentiometer to a point precisely above the posterior tip of the occipital process. With extreme caution, turn the dial for a current of 10 to the minus 6 milliamperes. If the formula proves correct, the transformation should be perfect, even to the arborescent shape of the accessory breathing organs. Clarius batrachus, the walking catfish. Clarius has been equipped by nature to swim in water or walk on land. Clarius reproduce very rapidly and spawn through much of the year. Clarius is viciously aggressive, and its continued spread poses a threat to the freshwater ecology of a wide area. Forward progress is made with a snake-like sliver and a vigorous thrashing of the tail. Whisker-like barbells, equipped with taste buds, brush along the bottom in search of food. The largest Clarius so far collected in Florida is 18 inches. We're going to do something about your size. You can't battle people being just 2 feet long. You must be tired. So am I. It's been a long 20 years. But today, a new life will start for me. Oh, but you know that. Your freshwater friends will be the first to experience that. They'll outgrow you rather rapidly, mutate, then attack. One final check to see that there's been no change in your acidity. It won't be long now. Very soon, the whole world will know about us and respect us. Nothing at all like the catfish, but it's beautiful. And now, another big challenge for you.
Biggest bunch of foolishness I ever seen. We had walking catfish around here a long time.
Well, you're the one who reported it, Sheriff.
Yeah, I know. Folks been bugging the hell out of me. But I didn't want to make no federal case out of this thing.
Not federal, just state, remember?
Yeah. The state of Florida against a little walking catfish. Some case.
Just doing my job, Sheriff.
Matson, your days are numbered.
Now listen to me carefully, Leopold. Your theory is too unrealistic. I'll have to insist you cease all further experiments.
Don't you have anything better to do? Like playing checkers or arresting bootleggers?
Nope. And I ain't going nowhere near that office. There's too many folks bitching. Fish walking through the yards and going into the houses and garages. But I told them you had all the answers, boy.
Well, at least I'm trying.
Yeah, well, I ain't seen that college education of yours do much good so far.
Walking fish wasn't part of the curriculum. They didn't teach us how to be kind to Sheriff's Island, but I'm trying.
You better be, boy.
Lou, I thought you said that was a freshwater spring.
I did. Why? Something matter?
There sure is. There's an extremely high content of radioactive material.
Yeah, well, what does that mean?
In your language, pollution.
Damn, man, look at that. What do you make of it?
This is a little out of my line, you know. But that looks like a claw mark.
No, it couldn't be. How about a fish bite?
No, I don't think so. Look at the size of these marks.
Yeah, but we drug him out of the middle of the lake, you know.
I'm not sure. Let me get a flash of it, and then I'll take a sampling of the tissue.
Viewing, enjoy the earth while you can.
I can authorize you to purchase another supply of mice and rats, but a human guinea pig? That's a request I must turn down.
You underestimated me. 25 long years of frustration and defeat. It was worth every minute. Now I know it will work.
I'll see you, Red, huh?
Sheriff, Dr. Pagato said that Mrs. Matson mentioned the word monster.
The woman's in shock.
Oh, wait a minute, Sheriff. I have another question.
How would you account for the marks in the dead man's body?
Hell, I'd say they were fish bites.
Do you see any connection between this monster and the rash of virus cases here in the hospital? Could the water supply be contaminated?
Hell, man, I ain't no scientist. It's probably a bug going around.
Nets are no longer for fish. We may use them on you humans, if any survive.
A monster. No, it wasn't a skin diver. Flesh-like, gray-green in color. Well, this place is about to get to me. Sheriff Krantz is getting more calls day by day about the damage that's being done by these walking fish. Well, frankly, Chief, I'm stymied. I've caught some oversized fish. Yes, they mutate. But then 3 things popped up out of order. A high ratio of pollution in a clear spring. Next, claw marks on a man who drowned. And then a thing I saw with my own eyes tearing up my net. How do you spell that? I-N-P-I-T. In-pit? What are they? Intonations, phenomena, investigations, team.
Suppose you know why I'm here. Seems clear enough. Before I do the job, though, I would like to put my mind at rest. About what? Were you in those woods this morning? You kill me, you'll never know, will you? I guess I'll never know.
Don't panic. Just keep your door locked and call me if anything happens. Okay, right. Hey, bye.
Some sheriff, yellow-bellied, the damn nigger lover to boot.
Well, I'm keeping my kids home from school, I'll tell you that.
Shirley, we'd like to see Lou.
Who? Yeah, send them in right away. No, Shirley, I don't want to talk to any more of them. Now, you tell them to go home, board up the place, stay off the streets and off my back. No, don't tell them that. Just tell them to go.
Sheriff, these are the two impet agents that I told you about. Martha Walsh, Walker Stevens.
Did you take a look at those marks?
Lou, they're identical to the ones in the first victim.
God. Man, what are they?
What do you think, Walker?
On the surface, it looks like an animal, like a cat or an ape. But this man was badly stunned or burned by some chemical.
So?
So, it could be from the fish family.
Now look here, mister. You trying to tell me that these walking fish are strong enough now to kill somebody? Because if you are, I'm taking a long walk right through that door.
Now just hold on a minute, Lou. Walker has to look at all possibilities. Now, he's come up with an idea I think makes a lot of sense. It's just a little bit farther up the road now.
KMB 322, KMB 322. This is Input Mobile 7 calling KMB 322. Over.
KMB 322, we're reading you at Input Mobile 7. Over.
Request the following information. Radioactive data on Florida freshwater sources. Results of salinity imbalance tests. And the computer readout on the history of marine mutations. Over.
I've received your Input Mobile 7. A request for information. Radioactive data of Florida, United States freshwater sources. Result of salinity imbalance. History of marine mutation computer readout. Over.
Charlie, you have received my message correctly. KMB 322. Mobile 7, clear.
KMB 322, clear.
Rex, secure that right there.
Right.
Walker? That report from headquarters came in.
What'd they say?
They had several theories on fish mutations. One is that the walking catfish came over in ships, quite by accident, from South Africa some 15 years ago. The other is that a radioactive material from a nearby lab may have caused a chemical reaction in the water.
There's a strange pollutant in these waters, that's for sure, because I found it.
I suppose a mutating fish could come over on a boat from Africa. Do you have any further comments on the enlarged aspects?
No, nothing.
Why would he suddenly turn killer?
fancy thing doesn't work.
Are you saying that I don't know how to hook that up?
You said it, but... Wait, do you think we ought to just go try? You know, just check it?
No, it's all right. It'll work, you know, if something happens. But I don't really think anything's going to happen.
I'm not really worried about that. I just hope this creature isn't a redneck.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn in, okay?
I'm already turned in.
I'm going to stay up a while and keep an eye on the detector. That's what we've been waiting for. Come on, Rex. Come on, Rex. He's in the net. See if he went through the net.
Oh, see him down here? He's gone,
A statement up here, huh? Okay?
Sheriff, can you give me a statement on the evacuation?
No, look. Just listen to me while I'm up here. I gotta keep it. Hold it down now. Now, we all know we're in trouble, right? I don't know where he is. I don't know exactly the whole problem myself, but I know we gotta get on over to Fort Dunn. All right? Now, Judge, you got a ride? Okay, all right, everything all right. Shorty, you're gonna be able to make it in that rig or not? All right, now, there won't no breakdowns on the road, you hear me? Miss Miller, you ain't gonna make it, honey. Then you get a truck or somebody take your bicycle, you hear me? Because I can't have nobody having a heart attack nothing on the road. We're all going over to Fort Dunn and the gymnasium. Now, the Red Cross is gonna have blankets and food and everything you need. Now, those that can't go, I want you to go home and lock up, and you keep them guns handy, you hear me? Now, come on. Now, get to your cars, let's go now. Everybody get on in there. Everybody take care of your own youngins and your own family.
Kill it!
Red Cross is going to furnish food and everything. Yeah, and those that can't
Turn
make
it down, please, Mark.
You go home, lock up, and you keep them guns.
Are those looking better?
You'll live.
Take a look at these.
Even photographs ugly.
See these spines just above the wrists? You can kill with those.
Or in the case of Mrs. Madsen, he can leave a victim in a state of suspended animation.
To think I let you two nuts go out there and sit like guinea pigs.
Well, Mother, you just weren't doing your job.
Speaking of jobs,
Oh, no.
Here's your big chance, Martha.
first time.
Now, be careful.
Let's face it, Walker, you need toughen up.
Do you know what I really need?
Yes.
All the information InPit can give you on that government lab down at Cypress Grove. As soon as possible.
Whatever turns you on.
Walker, do you really think the lab's the key?
At this point, Rex, where else do we look?
I will cause underwater life to triumph over all other living creatures. I will adapt myself to a permanent underwater environment. All other humans will be conquered. I cannot, I will not be stopped. I will select a mate with utmost care, and together we will create a new aquatic race. But there is no time left.
The lab closed down after the war. I used to go out there and check it from time to time. But then an old doctor named Leopold, he used to work out there. He bought it from the government. Well, he hung around for a while, but then he just wasn't around anymore. I guess he's like the fella that had a pipe dream and suddenly woke up and said, "Who needs $1 million sea lab?"
Hey, I have some hot news from InPit. They say that lab was active during World War II, conducting secret experiments with heavy water. Now listen to this. InPit just dug this bit up for us. In a top secret report, it's noted that a material used for the experiments was radioactive. It caused mutations in sea life and probably in other animal life. And now for the clincher. 3 canisters of this material was stolen and never recovered.
See if you can get a full report on those canisters, and with pictures if possible.
Do you think the monster's a catfish?
Maybe, but I'd say definitely a mutation. A mutated sea creature of some kind, but with intelligence. I think it's more than a coincidence. His 2 victims were supervisors at the lab during the war. You know, this creature fought with more than arms and legs. I'm convinced it has a brain at work. Sheriff, do you know a Rainey Johnson and a Roger Whitley?
Yeah, but what do they got to do with it?
I want you to alert them and tell them to be cautious, because headquarters says they worked at that lab.
The pain.
Go ahead, Sheriff.
It's all quiet on the west side.
It's quiet here, too. I only had one call. Widow Washburn said some of them walking fish been tromping through her yard again. Nearly drove a dog nuts. But I told her to just get some of them old boys working on the place next to hers to put up a fence around her property. No, I don't think she'll be bothered by them anymore. Over.
Sue, don't you stray away from the house none. Call me at the hospital if you need me.
Okay, Ma. You be careful, too.
I'll take good care of her, Miss Pringle.
I'm sure you will.
Henry, are you scared?
Nah, I don't believe in all that stuff. Why'd any monster want to come to this town anyway? Come on.
Hey, Dale.
Go ahead, Sheriff. Over.
I think I just heard a scream over near Community Hall. I'm gonna go take a look.
10-4.
All my life, well, people told me I should follow. So I followed him and then I followed you. Yeah, when I got done with that following, oh, I knew just what I had to do. I knew just what I had to do. Well, Jesus gathered his disciples. Yeah, turned to him and then they turned to you. Yeah, when they got done with that turning, yeah, they knew just what they had to do. They knew just what they had to do. Well, you think you're a hungry child, but you found out what it don't make you free. Dirt behind, feet inside, so you go back to the land another judgment day. Yeah, you think you're a hungry child, but you found out what it don't make you free. Dirt behind, feet inside, so you go back to the land another judgment day. All my life, people told me I should follow. So I followed him and then I followed you. Yeah, when I got done with that following, oh, knew just what I had to do. I knew just what I had to do. Well, Jesus gathered his disciples. Yeah, turn to him and then they turn to you. Yeah, when they got done with that turning, yeah, they knew just what they had to do. They knew just what they had to do. Well, you think you're a hungry child, but you found out what it would make you free. Dirty hands, feet inside, so you go back to the land another judgment day. Yeah, you think you're a hungry child, but you found out what it don't make you free. Dirty hands, feet inside, so you go back to the land another judgment day.
Now, you kids will be safe in here tonight, huh? Yeah, you take good care, huh?
Yes, sir.
All my life.
Rex, in the morning we'll have Lou take us over to the lab.
Sounds good. I think I'll turn in while it's still quiet. See you in the morning.
Okay, pal. Good night.
Night, Rex. Okay, patient. Time for you to bed down. Let me fix your pillows.
This is first-class service.
Of course.
Don't I get a good night kiss?
Anything to help the patient's morale.
Anything? Hey, you can do better than
Say, you're recovering nicely.
Everything in order, Doc?
Yes, I finished. Go ahead.
Sheriff, this is the most sensational story I've ever covered. Well, a vampire rape, that's what it was, wasn't it, Sheriff?
Dale, I'll meet you down at Mayhew's drugstore, huh?
Tell me, Sheriff, do you plan on calling out the National Guard? How else do you expect to catch this monster?
You know something, boy? It's a wonder if somebody hasn't stepped on you and smashed you flat. Now, if you keep bugging me, I just might take a notion to. Damn. As if we ain't got enough trouble around here.
They're the same wide tracks. Web-footed. And those aren't human fingerprints either. But why would a monster need drugs?
For the same reason he became a vampire last night, to satisfy some physical need or urge.
But he's just an animal, isn't he?
With human characteristics.
Don't you think that's pretty far-fetched?
No, Rex. I am convinced he has intelligence, and maybe that of a human being. Now, we can follow these tracks, and I don't think he's too far away. Come on, let's go.
that direction.
That's toward the Pringle house.
You must have killed that boy right after you left here.
Yeah, let's get going.
KMB 322 base, calling IMPIP Mobile 7. KMB 32.
You had him up there on the porch by the swing.
Well, what's the matter?
The signal's weak in here. Now it's getting stronger. Come on, he's gone this way.
Lab purchased on auction by Kurt Johansson, alias Kurt Leopold, employed at lab as marine biologist, radiologist, 14 February 1941 through 11 January 1945. Biography incomplete, but Leopold graduated cum laude MIT 1934, doctorate on radioactive effects of marine mutations. Reportedly discovered two new elements, Z sub A, Zeta sub alpha, and A sub T, alpha sub theta. When combined, the two elements were supposedly highly stable and would accelerate biological mutations. Classified medical reports indicate Leopold mentally unstable with paranoid tendencies, dismissed after repeated requests for human guinea pigs to test series. Told psychiatrists at his dismissal hearings that he would create an underwater race that would rule the world.
Come on, let's go. What's the matter, Lou?
A human fish. Sounds like something old Doc Leopold might try. He was known as a nut. Folks laughed at him. Said he was once trying to get volunteers off death row in prison to try experiments on.
Is that for real, Lou?
Yeah, there was a rumor going around that he was trying to...
To what?
Turn a man into a fish.
Damn, Lou, why didn't you tell us sooner?
Well, I never thought of it until just this second.
Let's get moving then. Places he heads in an easterly direction.
Do you think he's headed toward the ocean?
Could be.
Now, if he's a fish, how long can he stay out of water?
I think he's headed toward water right now. Let's go. Wait. Hold it. Meet me up the road. Sheriff, his tracks lead into the water right here. He had to walk out on the other side because this lake isn't connected to the Orange Sink grid.
So we scout the perimeter.
Right. I'll meet you both around on the other side.
Come on, let's go. Martha! Martha! Martha!
Be careful now, you may still be here.
He's been here, all right. Well, she's not here.
One of us should have had enough sense to have stayed here with her. Sheriff, as of now, we're all going to forget about trying to capture this thing. I want you to take Rex to that lab on the double. And Rex, see what you can find out there.
Right.
I'm going tracking.
Check that out, will you, huh?
Looks like a generator.
Well, what do you make of this?
I don't know. I've never seen anything like this before.
Wow, man. Hey, Rex. These pictures. There's Ewing and Matson.
These must be his victims. Lou, this looks like a sketch of Martha.
Martha, a victim, but why?
Damned if I know. Human experimentation. Lou, get on your radio and call Walker, tell him to get over here quick. If you can't get him, leave word with Dale.
Right.
Canisters, that's it. Mixed according to the right formula with the correct proportions, it can change a man into fish and mutate all sea life.
Martha? Martha? Is that you, Martha? Thank God you're alive, Martha. Martha! 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 Wait! Wait! Wait!
Yes, I can hear the critics saying this one was bad. Thanks for joining us for that movie. That was a seriously bad movie, but fun. The kind of movie needs beer and popcorn and throw things at the screen. They were going to do a giant Godzilla catfish for this, and actually make a miniature town for the catfish to ravage through and squish things. Unfortunately, they decided that was too hokey. And to the producer out there, wherever you are, have you seen the rest of your movie? I mean, really, that would have been an upgrade. Now, like I said, there are a lot of errors in this one. In some of the scenes, you can see that the monster's wearing tennis shoes. And when he attacks the family in the boat, and the mother is told, obviously, to make for the shore, he's just standing there waiting for his cue to start chasing her. But as bad as this movie was, it wasn't like they didn't put any thought into it. You notice the monster has a very small mouth. It's actually supposed to be like a leech's mouth because he was supposed to suck blood from people. And how do you like the team of scientists? It's like the low-rent version of Ark 2. You got the team shows up in a Winnebago. You got the Gil Gerard-looking lead scientist. You got the pretty blonde girl. What does that make the black guy? The monkey, Adam? I don't know. And I suppose I should touch on that. That, to me, is kind of the scary part of this movie. How casually the sheriff would call out, "Yes, boy," and use the N-word. I mean, I suppose it's period. In the South, I suppose in the 70s, there was a lot of that going on. We here in California, not so much. So that kind of struck me odd. Now, I said there was an ad-lib scene in this, and I don't know if you caught it. The snake bite scene. When the scientist is tromping through the swamp at the end there, that snake comes right out and bites him. And that was real. Of course, he did not actually die from it, but nonetheless, the snake did bite him, and they did have to treat him. Now, I think I mentioned that they didn't have any lights for this, so they had to use the car headlights to illuminate the buildings in the evening. And if the music sounds a little bit familiar, you know, as I said, the lab was used in Revenge of the Creature, and the music was used in The Brain That Wouldn't Die. And actually, there's an interesting synergy between those two films and this one. Of course, you know, in this one we have the morgue scene where the corpse actually breathes. I don't know if you caught that. So, some bad stuff. The ending did not make sense to me. Why did the girl go off into the ocean? What is it that chicks have for monsters? They just love the bad boy. You know, because she hadn't been dipped yet. Sounds like something out of Roger Rabbit. Yeah, she hadn't been dipped yet, so why would she go off into the ocean? I don't get it. No understanding there. Well, we hope you liked that movie. And if you need another schlocky movie to watch with beer, we have our Netflix and Chill moment. Now on Netflix this week, we have a very predictable movie, but it has a few pieces to it that I like. Cabin Fever. Some college kids go off to a cabin and are attacked by a flesh-eating bacteria. And it's, every bad sort of teen college movie you've ever seen. They've got a couple of couples, one single guy who is usually either a nerd or, in this case, he's a jerk. And I don't know what it is that sometimes in a teen group you have to have that one guy that's always a jerk, and you hope he gets eaten first. There is a particularly disgusting scene on several levels where our young hero, who of course has the hots for the girl, and the girl is passed out and she's wearing next to nothing, and he puts her in bed and contemplates what we would say now, taking advantage of her. It goes badly. Let's just put it there. It goes badly. Now, the movie is worth watching if for no other reason. Stay for the very last scene and then read the credits. If you're paying attention, you'll see what I mean. We have to do that one of these days. So check it out. Cabin in the Woods. Well, that's our show for this week, such as it is. Make sure to come see us at, Worldcon 76 is coming up. We have a nice big booth. Stop by, say hi. Bob will be there. And, of course, it's the only place you can pick up our merchandise. Now, if you're seeing me on the TV somewhere, make sure to tell your provider that you enjoyed us, if you did. And if you're on the computer somewhere, there's a button down there somewhere that says like, subscribe, thumbs up, something like that. Hit one or all of them. You can even leave a comment. So, until next week, remember, he's Bob, I'm Al, and we'll see you at the movies. Yeah, this movie was a little fishy for me.
Bye.